Terrible posters aside, the announcement that Martin Scorsese's newest film, Killers of the Flower Moon, was going to get a fairly wide release got me absolutely excited. And seeing DiCaprio and De Niro in this and hearing about Lily Gladstone's Oscar-worthy performance, it only amplified all the hype around it. Based on the book by David Gran, which was also based on the true story of the Osage, Oklahoma murders throughout the 1920s, Scorsese threads the film's narrative through his signature style once again. Now, if you're familiar with any of his other movies, and I'm sure you are, you'll notice in the way it's edited and structured, it borrows its DNA from both The Irishman and Goodfellas. And this is a compliment to the film, being that both of those films, considering how long they are, felt very lightweight and really well paced. But even with these similarities in the bedrock of all three, Killers of the Flower Moon really sticks out from the others. And I think that has to do a lot with how it's written and even paced. Goodfellas and The Irishman are by no means loving or warm films, but they're both emotionally engaging, especially in contrast with Killers of the Flower Moon, which balances that fine line of a much colder overall film, while also leaving us, the audience, engaged throughout the whole story. It's not a fun gangster movie, and it's not the epic rise and fall of the mafia. It's a densely saturated film that tells its incredibly emotional story while making sure that it keeps the audience at arm's length. Is it a bit too dense where at times there are moments of waiting for one to progress the story? Absolutely, mainly stemming from the second act. But even saying that, there's very little fat you could cut from the runtime. It's enthralling, brutal, and very cathartic. DiCaprio goes into his bag, adding yet another very good performance as Ernest Burkhart. There's really not a lot to say about his performance other than it's yet another great performance to his legendary resume. Is it enough to win over Cillian for Oppenheimer? I don't really think so. But De Niro as Uncle William Hale puts up a really good fight as the film's two-faced narcissistic antagonist, and I really would not be surprised if he were to get a win over Downey. But even then, that's a very stacked bracket that includes Gosling, Ruffalo, and more. If there was one performance you were to take from this film, it would be absolutely, without a doubt, Lily Gladstone's quiet yet methodical performance.
It's good for the crops, that's for sure.
Just be still.
Of all the films I've seen this year, Gladstone's Molly Burkhart stands out of the crowd. It's not only worthy of a nomination, but maybe even the win. Now, there are a couple problems I have with that though. First, I still haven't gotten the chance to see Emma Stone in Poor Things, but I'm kinda wary about her being pushed for the lead actress as I felt there were large pockets in the film that had her take more of a supporting role. But even then, she quite literally is the heart and soul of this very cold film. She's not only one of the main characters, but she literally is the story. It flows through her. So I can kinda see where Apple and co are coming from. Surrounding our main cast are solid performances from both Jesse Plemons and Brendan Fraser. Nothing notable, they just did their job. I also thought the film's score was serviceable at best. Nothing really stands out, and actually the song from the first trailer is really the only one I remember throughout the marketing and the film in general, funny enough. Now, let me just say this. I really love the way it was shot. Just beautifully framed landscapes and scenes. It reminds me a lot of how The Departed and Terrence Malick's Days of Heaven was shot, especially that scene which looked like a straight copy. I will say though, I really don't love how grayed and washed out it looked at times, mainly during the day scenes, where it looked way too flat. I kinda wish this was shot on film. I know it's a bit of a nitpick considering how beautifully shot this was overall, but it just did not look good at times. Now it's running time. Did it earn it? I'm not really sure. While this looks like it belongs on the biggest screen imaginable, it feels like this would be much more comfortable in a home viewing, which is a completely different takeaway from what I'd say for The Irishman. And I believe a lot of that has to do with how cold and tragic the film feels. It's almost documentary-like, to a point where I feel like they could have leaned a bit more into the story with the Osage. And that final scene when Marty himself recounts the fallout from the plot is very powerful. Overall, it's incredible that Scorsese is still putting up some of the best films of the year at his age. And him knowing that he's got to get everything out of him for the sake of better cinema before his time is up is a testament to his commitment to the art form. Killers of the Flower Moon isn't just a good drama by one of film's most iconic directors. Killers of the Flower Moon is one of the best films of the year. I'm feeling a very, very, very strong 4 out of 5 stars on this. Please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.